Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Partner Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today?
Growth of population. The growth of population here is the most important topic. The growth of population in a regions are depend upon to the fertility, mortality and migration. Fertility are the birth rate is a measuring in the term of total number of live birth per thousand population per year. You know that there is the most important here. The growth of populations is a reason depend upon to the fertility, mortality and migration. Fertility or their birth rate is a measuring in the term of total number of live birth per thousand population per year. And generally the fertility rate is affected by the various social, economical and democratic factor here. That is the most important point. The fertility rate is affected by the various social, economic and demographic factor here. And mortality or death rate is a measuring in the term of total number of death per thousand population per year. The difference between a two rate, fertility and mortality, is called a natural growth rate. You know that there is a most important point. The difference between these two states, fertility and mortality, is called the natural growth rate. The term of migration refers to the movement of people. The migration here refers to a movement of people from one place to another. That is important. The people from one area to the other, from one country to another, and the rate of migration affect the growth of population of region by increasing or decreasing the number of people living there. The growth rate of population may be positive and negative. That is important here. The growth rate of population may be positive or negative. A positive growth rate of population meaning on increasing in the number of people living in a region. Whereas a negative growth rate means a decline of population. A positive growth rate occur then their number of birth and migration scale their number of deaths and out of migration. The negative growth rate is mean just a positive to positive growth rate. There is the most important point here. The positive growth rate occurs when the number of birth and migration exceed the number of deaths and out of migration. The negative growth rate is mean just a positive to positive growth rate here. Here show the most important table. The India is a population growth rate 91 to 2001. There is the most important period time is a 100-year difference here. The change here is the population in the million and change the million and change the percentage and average here. There is a 90s one. There is a no information provides here. 90s 11. There is a population million is a 252.08 and the million is here and 5% it changes. There is a other side with same effect here. But 1921 there is a negative here. Negative goes with there is a most important period time on the negative of the changes in here. And the next growth rate is the same here, but as the development of population is a step by step. But at least 2001 there is a 1027 there is maximum here growth. But there is a positive only 180.63 here and 21.34% is increasing. There is a most important period time the increasing of population here on in the screen. The next year district level pattern. The district level analysis is reflect that there are as many as 90 districts where their growth rate is very high. More than 50%. On the other hand, there are 58 districts where a growth rate is very low. Less than 10% out of the 90 is very high growth rate districts. 5 belong to the Nagaland and 4 to Delhi. There is a district 5 belong to the Nagaland and 4 to the Delhi. And similarly, out of the 58 very low growth rate district, as many as 40 districts are in the southern part of India. And out of this 40 districts, as many as 20 are Tamil Nadu, is 11 in Kerala and 5 in Andhra Pradesh and 4 in Karnataka. That is the most important here. Out of these 40 districts, as many as 20 are in the Tamil Nadu, 11 is Kerala and 5 in Andhra Pradesh and 4 is in Karnataka. If we look at the district level of pattern, it has been to marked that a high growth rate are visible in almost the entire Indo-Gangetic plain, extending from the Haryana in the west, Bengal in the east. High growth rate are also observed in the regions north of Satpura range, spreading across the Malabar plateaus and entire Rajasthan, including the Great Indian Desert. The western Maharashtra and the part of northern eastern states, on the other hand, relatively low growth rate in observed in a Gangadavari basin here. Godavari basin is the most important and Chhattisgarh plain here also, and Chota Nagpur plateaus and west part of West Bengal and the Orissa. The very low growth rate are observed in Punjab, Uttarakhand and the southern region of the Deccan Plateau. There is a most important point here, a notable point. Every low growth rate observed in Punjab, Uttarakhand and the southern region of Deccan Plateaus here. Look at the table 26.1. You feel that find that is the total population of our country as per our political containers are today was 238 million, and by 2001 it has risen to the phenomenalist as a figure of 1027 million. There is a most important growth here, and about 788 million person were added in the last century. There is a most important here. There is a last century here. The rise is of there about 4.3 times since the 1901. If we look at the 100-year population growth, then it can be broadly is grouped under the following four category here. The four category is the most important here. A period of stagnant of growth rate before 1921, and period of stay of growth rate is 1921 to 1951, and period of rapidly growth rate is 1951 to 1981. The period of decline of growth rate is after 1981. There is a most important point here. Let's us discuss the each phase of briefly here. There is an important. A first point here briefly. There is a before 1921. There increase in a population was sporadic and regular and slow. This was mainly due to the high birth and death rate here. There is mainly of the high birth rate and death rate. Therefore, the natural growth was insignificant. In 1911 to 21, there absolutely there is increasing or decline marginally is due to the famines, epidemic, and etc. After 1921, population has been increasing. Therefore, 1921 known as the demographical divide into population study of India. And the next year, second, there is since 1921 to 1951, there was a steadily increasing in the population, and this is because of steady decline in a death rate. The decline was mainly due to the improvement in sanitation and medical facilities. Other factors which help where is the development in the road facilities which help in meeting their exercise of food storage and substantial improvement in agricultural economics. Therefore, the population growth during this period was known as a minority induced growth here. This is a very crucial phase as far as population growth of India is concerned. The population was almost doubled is during these three decades. During this period, there was a rapid decline in a death rate, and whereas the decline in the birth rate was marginal. Look at the table. You will find birth rate was reduced from 41.7 to 37.2. There is an important point here, a decreasing of here, reducing here. and there is a death rate was reduced from 22.8 to the 15 is during this period. Therefore, the difference between the birth rate and death rate was very high, and as a result, natural growth rate is remained very high. And this was due to the accelerations in a developmental activity of further improvement in a medical facilities. Improvement in the living condition of the people and etc. This period of growth is termed as a fertility introduce a growth. Fourth year in the last two declare is the 1981 to 91 and 1991 to 2001. The rate of growth started a decline gradually. It is signals to beginning of the new era in the demographical history of India. During this period, both are declined significantly from 37.2 in 1971 to 81 to be 24.8 in 1991 to 2001, whereas decline in a death rate is a continue in a slower rate here. The death rate has declined from 15.0 to 88.9 during this period. This decline trend a positive one and may be attributed is effective government role in promoting family welfare program and people awareness. There is a most important point here. The next annual birth rate and death rate and the natural growth rate is a 1901 to 2001. There is a most important here. And declared there is a time period and there are birth rate per thousand and death rate per thousand, natural growth per thousand and natural growth in a percentage. You know that there is a most important here show on 90, 11, 21. This period times here equal to the both birth rate and death rate is equal. There is a only natural growth rate here 1000 is 0.9 and natural growth is a percentage 0.09. There is a most important here, and the next here is important on here. There is a 90, 41 to 51. There are 39.9 is the birth rate, but here a death rate per thousand is a decrease. There is only natural growth per thousand is a 12.5. There 1931 is a natural growth rate is per thousand is a 14. That is the most important the next year. And the most important here of birth rate and death rate is increasing is a time to period to time. You know that there is a most important here growth here. Maximum growth is here noted down to the 48.1. That is important. And the death rate also is increasing 47.2. But notable here is important 1991 to 2000 there are 24.8 is a birth rate, but death rate is a very decreasing is a 8.6. There is a most important here. Important here percentage 1.60. The important in this table there is more important information here. And the next is the most important here in this box, the notable point, not your notebook. Here the point is important. The growth rate of population is a function of fertility, mortality and is a migration. And different between fertility and mortality rate is called natural increasing of population. You know that I am repeat again. The growth rate of population is a function of fertility, mortality and migration, and the difference between fertility and mortality rate is called natural increasing of population. And second here, the population of India has been increasing steadily is a sign 90-21. The major factor is responsible for it has been a very rapid decline in a death rate.